In the prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remain standing for the prayer, please. O Lord God, we come before thee in prayer, acknowledging the blessing of government and administration. Thou art a God of order and hast blessed us with the establishment of governing officials to provide civil harmony and concord. Be with us in this meeting and give us strength and wisdom to pursue goals which please thee. Grant us the courage to support those things which are right and according to thy ordinances. For we ask in God's name. Amen. Roll call.
Presque,
Yes.
Saley,
Here.
Cellini,
Present.
Vitamin. Here. Is absent.
Approval of our agenda. Any additions or deletions?
Just one addition, there's a couple accounts that the treasurer's office, myself have been watching for a while and they're no longer utilized. We'd like to close them out and move the money over.
To a general fund?
Yeah.
Okay.
For transfer accounts.
Close and transfer.
Any other?
We
Is that
got-
item 4 then?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
We get material management plan board appointments. How are we gonna do that?
I don't believe, Mr. Tony, we can possibly do it tonight, but we want to discuss it tonight.
Discuss it.
Because we
Well, that's
can
what I was-
talk about who we'd like to get, but we got to talk to them first.
Right.
And furthermore, everybody's got different ideas. And
All right.
Entertain a motion?
Motion to approve the amended.
Second. Second. Okay, motion second by Saley. All in favor, say aye.
I,
All opposed, say nay. Okay. Anyone here to have a conflict of anything that's on the agenda today? Hearing none, we'll go on to the minutes of the August 30th. Approval of the August 30th, 24 meeting.
move adoption as presented.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
I,
Opposed? Claims audit. Cliff, if I'd have known ahead of time that John didn't get with you because he wasn't here. Yeah, we gotta call you,
Oh, it wasn't at the. Right,
finance,
finance.
yeah, cause you're the backup, aren't you? Yeah,
Yeah.
so. I met with the treasurer and our clerk and Vicky was there. We talked, went over the claims and everything was pretty much normal.
so, Mr. Chairman, when we can't make a meeting, it is our job to call the back
Yes.
person.
Yes,
So
Yeah.
that should have
yeah,
happened.
so John should have called him.
Yeah, he never called me.
See, he did tell me that he wasn't gonna be here today, but he
He
didn't
told
say
me at
anything
the
about.
last meeting that he wasn't gonna be at the health board like you did. too.
Right.
But he didn't tell me about.
No, and he never did, he never told me about he wasn't gonna be at
That
finance.
wasn't right, but it happened.
Right. So. We got here and then it would take, by the time we got a hold of him, probably about an hour by the time we
Right.
got a hold of you and then we got here, so. I
It takes
apologize
a
for
half
that-
hour
for
to
him
get
for that,
here.
yeah,
Takes a
yeah,
half hour.
Yeah. so. We went through it, it wasn't a whole lot, I mean, it was just pretty
Yeah.
much,
I got a question on the,
we talked about, we're gonna look into the. Alice Township cameras and stuff like that, but we're gonna get back with the township supervisor. And have him give us an itemized statement of. How that broke down, so. And we had talked about getting some more. What kind of insurance was that?
Well, we can also talk about that at the report section.
Okay, all right,
the seal code at 40 Mile Point, that's in the budget, eh?
yes,
Yeah, they kind of did a split. It was supposed to be, we pay for half of that and half of the, I think it was the tuck point.
Yep.
And instead of us writing 2 checks, them writing 2 checks, they took this one and they.
and they're
took
pretty
this one,
close
they
to
were
even
right
Steven
with it.
anyway, so, yeah.
Okay, and then the other question. Yeah, I was looking through. Spectrum. Ballot printing, is that for the election?
That was for August.
Oh, the primary.
That was from August.
I got a question on, the juvenile holding facility supplies. That has yet to be used, right? Is that just stocking up with what they
Right.
need?
Getting everything now while we have
Okay.
that grant money.
We got that supplies and we got from Roger Home Furnishing, the desks and stuff like that
Furnishing.
Okay,
are on the claims too.
What's that for the doors? It says a roller. For the youth holding facility, is it something to do with the doors?
No, it's just the supplies,
No,
the
they have to have like the mat.
janitorial supplies and
Janitorial
stuff like that.
supplies, the clothing and.
And furniture,
Yep. The only thing, I don't think
Computers.
they don't have anything done with the bunk beds yet.
an election and tabulator coding. 15,000 or $13,000, who does that?
Yeah, that's Source. They do the programming and then they send me the stuff. I program all the devices that go to the local.
We have to pay that, or do they reimburse us for that?
That's not
State.
reimbursable in the August primary.
Oh. Hmm.
Yeah,
They-
the county and the township, isn't it? That pay that?
Um. They may be getting some money back. We're submitting for wages for the night early voting for all the early voting sites.
Alright.
Did you get anything from Emmett County? Okay. Yeah, we don't have the bills from Emmett County recycling. For the. Fibrous material and the glass and stuff, we'll probably, we'll see a double next claims.
That's all I had. I would motion that. Bring the claims on it. in
The amount of $199,277.15. We have a support.
So it is up and down.
Support. Okay, we have a motion and support to accept the claims and pay the bills. Any other discussion? Not, roll call please.
Saley,
Yes.
Talini,
Yes,
Heidemann,
yes,
Darga.
Yes. Any citizens appearing before the board? Okay, Rachel?
Yeah, Rachel Goodstein, I live at 126 South First Street, and it's Thursday, it's an evening meeting, and I'm here, I was one of the citizens who said, I wanted you to meet in the evening, and now that I don't have conflicts, I'll be here at least at the Thursday meeting. So I just thought I should acknowledge that and thank you, because you might say, why are we doing this? And I'll just say this, Zonto, which used to have its trivia nights, which were very successful with like 80 people, we're having them on the second Thursdays, and they did move them. I don't know that that means there'll be 80 people here, but you know, we're not running as a civic organization, we're not running in competition with your meetings anymore.
so if you can get the city to change the Team Rogers city meetings from the fourth Friday, that would really be helpful.
Oh, yeah, no, you know, another project to work on, why not? Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Any other citizens? Okay, we'll go on to new business, NEMCOG agreement. Designating our planning agency for materials management.
Well, as your NEMCOG rep, would it be helpful if I just kind of back up and walk through the steps here? Last meeting, we should have had this, but it came in late from NEMCOG and it just didn't get into our packet. So why is this essential? Because of Eagle rules, in November, we have to have a work plan submitted to Eagle. So working back from that, we have to have a planning leader selected, and we have to have the committee selected. So that the deadline is staring us in the face. So that's why we're talking about the contract and the committee. I believe we can talk through the contract and be okay with that tonight, but there's no way we can do the committee. We have to have some more discussion on it, talk to people. So the contract itself, the one you got shortly after our last meeting, had a number of tentative items in it that were in color. And so I called over to the NEMCOG people, Nico Tucker is the one I was working with, and asked them to take the colors out and remove a couple of items that were, in my opinion, not suitable. They had an approval process for any changes in staffing on the plan. Well, I just thought back to our master plan where we had 3 or 4 different staff people working on that at different times. And I thought, I don't want to have to approve that at the board level. Let them, they're a planning agency, let them work with their own staff. So I don't think we want to approve any changes in staff, do we?
No, I don't think.
I asked him to take that part out.
You hired them for a reason.
Yeah.
They know what they're
Wanted to
doing.
do the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would
They
really.
know- They know their planning and how they're gonna get it going, so we don't want to.
Well,
interfere
and
with
furthermore, they hire young planners in the summer, they have some contract workers, so let them deal with that is my thought.
You did it the same way when you had the solid waste plan, didn't you?
Yeah,
Well, similar, yeah,
They provided their own staff.
yeah.
but I did say, Nico, look, we need a timeline on this. The 60,000 a year goes for 3 years. Oh, pardon me, the 60,000 a year goes for 5 years.
Yeah.
But we have a 3-year deadline to get the plan done. But for our little county, it shouldn't take 3 years. So I said, I don't want to have this plan go farther than 2 years. And again, that's my opinion. So I asked him to put in a 2-year timeline for the plan. He thought that maybe it could be done in a year and a half.
2 years is probably real.
But yeah, I want a little bit of a safety on that.
Well, I think give us a chance to read it over and stuff and rehash stuff if we have to too.
Right, and if it goes to Eagle and Eagle doesn't like it,
Right.
and they want some
They tighten it.
changes, right? So that timeline got put in. So the other stuff is the same. He changed the price on one item. If you'll notice, they're billing for things they've already done for us. They helped us. Yes, right, exactly. They were the ones that gave us the templates for declaring ourselves the designated that we were gonna go through the planning process and be a 1-county plan. And we had some notifications that had to go to the paper and all that. So they've been helping us now for 6 months and they haven't charged us a dime. So let's go back to that cost page.
They almost stayed up to 60,000 though. 50,000.
So, there it is, notification of intent. They helped us with that process, and that was a little bit involved. And so they're asking us to put that in to the plan money. I think that's fair.
Where you at, man? Well, no, second to the last page.
Yeah, they're not, oh, page 6, it says at the top. So this is the cost sheet. The second item is right where we're at right now. Develop a committee and the work program, which we have to have done by November. He had that in the first draft, you look at it, 3,000. He reconsidered what they'd already been working at, and he added another 1,000 to that. And then the plan development over 2 years would be 40. Now, mind you, during that time, we're getting 60 a year, so it would not take the entire amount that is coming to us. But we don't get any of that cash.
1,000 in 5 years.
60 a year or 60 total?
I thought it was
60
60
per
a year.
year,
No, it is per year.
yeah.
So it's
So he's
300.
got 40,000 total over the 2-year time period to
So
do a plan.
roughly, you're gonna use.
Right.
1 year's worth to pay for the plan.
Right. So they're not gonna use the whole amount is my point. Okay, so then we have some money, for instance, to pay people that are gonna be on the committee.
Right.
$50. If we decide to handle it like everybody else, it'd be $50 a meeting plus travel.
I think there's no restrictions on that money, though. You can use it on anything.
Well, I was just gonna ask that. I don't know if there is. It's
I
got,
don't
it's
think
gotta
there
stick
is.
to this.
They,
It can't just go to the general fund.
Oh, no, but for instance, it could have paid for your cameras.
that's what I mean.
It could pay for educational materials that tell citizens, would you please break down your box? We talked about last time, there's not a single sign out there that said, break down your box. This could buy signs that tell people, break down your box.
So it is specific to
It can be used for any activities that are necessary to put the plan together and implement the plan.
Yeah, it's probably specific to. that.
Anything involved with material management.
I would,
Right.
yeah,
Right,
I would
yeah.
think so.
Right. Oh, no, we can't go into the general fund at all. So what I'm saying is it won't be all just administrative stuff. We can actually do something with the money.
I thought that when we went through that course, they said you could use this in other areas, but I guess that was wrong.
No.
The only thing I wasn't positive on, and I didn't look back, is it refund or reimbursing?
No, right, that's what I was just gonna ask too, if we don't use it, do we still get it? That's,
You can carry the money over
okay,
to the following year,
So
you
it's
know.
Pre-funding.
I think you get the 60 grand as soon as they approve the first 60 grand. Don't ask me about the next one. As soon as they approve your work program and your committee.
I didn't bring my book down.
But I mean, the second year and the third year though, you still get the 60 grand.
Well, and plus there's a percentage you get, there's a per capita fee based on population. It's a small amount compared to the 60, but it's gonna be a little bit more than 60. I forget how that, it might have been 5 or 6 extra grand per year.
I wasn't
So
sure
you
if it
can
was in
keep that in a
much.
separate account.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be in a. So those are kind of the changes. Now,
couldn't that go in our resource recovery?
No, we'll put it in a separate account.
Separate.
yeah.
Or-
Now, if the plan says later on, if the plan says we wanna do resource recovery in X, Y, and Z ways, once it's part of the plan,
Then it could.
exactly.
Okay, yeah.
What we do in other areas too is like we can keep it in the one fund so we can track it better. And then if we have to pay another
Fund, you
fund
just take it out of.
for services, then we can track,
Yeah.
we have a trail.
Yep.
Now, the other part of this thing that had me in a panic mode talking to Nico was, that's not very much time to put together a work program.
You talking about November?
Okay, but if you look at your plan development right on the first page, item 3. So he goes down in 3 with these headings, inventory and identify your baseline of what, how much you're recycling now, basically. And then the next item, materials management goals and objectives, 5-year implementation strategy and planning documentation. That right there is the work plan. Okay, because that's what the law requires, and it's kind of, now, it can be gussied up,
Oh,
but that's really the requirements of the law. That's what every plan has to contain.
we could tweak that as we go too.
Right, but NEMCOG is just gonna basically expand on this 2 pages to make the work plan. But the work plan has to be approved by that committee that we haven't put together yet.
But once they approve it, we could amend it. Like,
Sure.
Yeah, we could tweak. it later.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's
Absolutely.
Get the
the,
ball rolling, we'll get it in place.
I'm back on the cost thing. He's got plan implementation. He's got to be determined.
Well, because we don't have a plan yet.
So he's just gonna come up with a cost.
Well, what's left over,
There's like
so
10
say it costs
grand.
40, between 40 and 50 grand to put the plan together over 2 years, but you've got now 120. So I got a lot of money left. I can use that for plan implementation. So if the plan says we need more cameras, security cameras at the waste sites. Now we said, well, that's what we want to do. Plan implementation is buying those cameras and putting them up. So of course you don't know what they are yet because we don't have the plan. So you can't cost out the implementation because you don't have the plan yet.
But we're implementing the plan ourselves, so.
Well, with help of NEMCOG. You know, we don't. It could be recycling school. It could be a lot of things. It could be better lids on the.
Right.
It,
There's plenty of things.
well, for instance, I think you told me that, somebody did from the city, I think it was you. The city no longer has a mulcher out there where you have the yard waste. Well, a lot of people take their yards waste there. There's not another good site. Well, we need to get a mulcher out there. So that's
an issue for sure.
so this money could be used to buy a mulcher.
Where do they take the garbage?
They take it up to the old dump at the city right now, but truck by the truckload, don't they? And I think they're just letting it decay
Yeah,
up
they're
there,
trying to let it decay because
Yeah.
there's no tub grinders
right?
in the area. So.
So that might be a really good thing to say, let's buy one with some of this money. But that has to be in the plan before you can use the state money to do it.
That's definitely, okay, so I was kind of thinking that, what are we gonna do with that big pile in the back there? And that's a huge, huge problem and cost to the city.
But see, that's why we need, when we get over to the names of people, one of our representatives should be a composting facility or anaerobic digester operator. Well, my thought is have somebody from Rogers City DPW on the committee that can tell, okay, because if we want to increase composting or at least make the existing site workable, and now it's just yard waste, is that all it's gonna be? I mean, you know.
That's good. That's actually really good idea. Because that is by far one of the biggest things that we're dealing with.
Right. And that's open for
I haven't been up to the old site, the old dump site to see how big that pile's gotten either.
I'm not really, I don't know.
But so now we can tell the city what would be helpful, just like you got your Bobcat, because that's something you needed.
Right.
If we're gonna be managing this waste and we need certain pieces of equipment, as long as we put it in the plan, the money can pay for it. But in order to put it in plan, we need to have knowledgeable people on the committee that can say what
Yeah,
we need.
Okay.
So that's how this all is supposed to fit together.
I was wondering where you're gonna find a composting facility there.
Rogers City.
Well, you know, and that's not really mandatory that we have to have one because
Yeah, yeah, it is. It says right here. We don't have to have a composting facility, but if you have one, you got it represented on the
that's what I'm
committee.
saying, we don't have to have a composting facility, but now that the city has one, we
Right.
could entertain it to help them out with that. But it's not,
I mean, I could-
not,
Yeah,
even
Mike is
think of-
correct. Now, if you look at that column by the list of names, it says minimum required members. So Mike is absolutely correct that you don't have to have a composting facility, but since we have a composting facility, shouldn't we have them on
Way to
the
dispose.
committee?
Absolutely.
right, we
Okay.
don't really have a facility, but we have composting facility that the city is doing. But now that you can't get
That's
the
not
Well,
composting and stuff,
I was thinking about that, and I know now we're starting to talk about the committee. Should we finish off the contract and then go to
finish-
the committee?
yeah, finish up the con.
My mind wanders. So I don't know if you had a chance to look at either the first version or the second version. I think it's an okay contract now as revised, but take a minute and look at it, so you're not rushing.
Probably the standard one they do. for everyone.
Yes, they're using it
You're talking
for,
about this one, right? Okay.
they're using it for 4 other counties, more or less the same.
This is a little bit different than Alpena, though, isn't it?
Yeah, Alpena's doing a
Yeah.
multi-county.
Yeah.
But it's Otsego, Sheboygan, us
And Emmett,
and Emmett are
Yeah.
going one county
you're going
plan.
single county, yes.
Alpena, Montmorency,
Alcona are
Elcona,
going together, not Skoda.
so they got a 4-county plan. And 4 counties have 1-county plans.
So,
If you look at tab 3 on page 4 of the contract. So that's where Nico put in the deadline of November 2026, so that's basically 2 years.
Yep.
That's where then.
Yeah.
It has to be done.
That got added. And I think, cause I just didn't want the thing to
Go on,
rattle around for 3
2027.
years. Eagle's deadline is 27, but I'm not
Well, I
comfortable.
imagine they made it that because there's probably some huge counties.
Oh, shoot,
Huge.
try doing Oakland County or something. or-
it gives us a year, if Eagle doesn't like something, gives us extra
Yes.
time to go back and review it
Right.
and make it to what they
And,
need.
you're
Is that-
gonna have the money,
Yeah.
but wouldn't you rather use the money for something real than just to fuss
You don't
around with
get
the plan?
money until the plan's done and approved.
Correct.
Right, once the plan's approved, then you can use the money for anything that's in the
But I
plan.
mean, you can put the deadline in there, but you can finish the plan anytime you want, so even if it said 3.
Well,
years,
not anytime. Eagle says 3 years max.
I know, 3 years, but I
Yeah.
mean, even though you could put 3 years in there, you could do it in a year and a half.
Yes, and that would be great.
So I guess. it
That's
really
my
don't
personal
matter-
target.
Really don't matter what.
Yeah.
big Number
Right.
you
Yeah.
got on the year.
Well, at least we got something in here saying, okay, let's get,
As long as you know you can do it within 2 years.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say that Nico is very concerned about, and we've all been through this, is that Eagle keeps changing the rules.
Yeah, that's another thing.
And so that's why he put in on that cost sheet. He put in, hey, if they change the rules and we have to go back and do more. You see right under the cost box, the total cost of the project will be based on staff time and expenses. So then they're not just gonna charge that amount, they're just gonna charge you as they spend the time. And any additional work required to address changes in regulations, policies, and procedures. Because they've been caught in that trap before. Eagle changed the rules, they have to go do something over again in a slightly different way. So that's just like a little,
That being said. Why would it be safer for us to leave it for 3 years, just in case Eagle comes in and starts doing something really
we
ridiculous?
can always amend it later.
Yeah,
As long as you can amend it.
Yeah,
we can amend
yeah.
it. Yeah, that's what,
You
that's,
This is
amend
our
it.
contract between us and
And.
NEMCOG.
NEMCOG, but
Yeah,
we can go in and amend it. and add
yeah,
another year.
absolutely. We don't have to go to Eagle to amend it.
Right. I just didn't want to be.
Yeah, I hear
stuck.
you. I hear you. Yeah, no, that wouldn't surprise me either, but
No, because they're not the best.
I want NEMCOG to move forward, if, you know how it is, you get 3 years, you don't.
yeah. But wait till the,
Thing
well,
is,
it's Eagles.
Eagle's ridiculous.
Well,
That's
that's the
what-
reason why we got this. This
You gotta
committee
stay
being
a-
formed.
You gotta stay a step ahead of them.
That's why we got this materials management committee that we're gonna be, because they don't wanna do it anymore. They're
Yeah.
gonna set it on the county's butt. We're gonna be liable.
Well, they
for our
want to
own.
do it. They want to take it all
They're,
over.
they're gonna take it all up.
So with that discussion, I guess I would make a motion to approve the version of the contract that came to us tonight. With those amendments that we've talked about from the prior version.
I was.
That, now, do I have to sign
Oh, and have
Sign it
the
too? in the place of chairman?
chairman sign.
Yeah, you're chairman right here.
Yeah,
You have to sign it.
yeah.
I don't know if John's gonna be back, but you're acting as chairman, I think.
You have to sign
Well, I
it.
would just say and authorize our vice chair to sign.
Okay, we have a motion and a support, and to accept the contract. Any more discussion? If not, entertain a roll.
Fellaini,
Yes.
Heidemann,
Yes,
Sarga.
Yes.
Bailey.
yes.
Good job, Mary Ann.
well, it's really NEMCOG and our clerk have been working on that, so. I think we can just slide right into this appointment thing. You know what I would really enjoy hearing? If you've got your list with you, could we just go around and,
Where's Ben's comment?
That was what I gave you last time, the worksheet to fill out the names.
Yeah,
no, don't panic, we can talk about it.
Right.
We could just go
Got an
item.
extra one for
Not
Um,
with,
I
I
can,
didn't bring
you have
my,
one clip,
my
I can just look at when you.
or my binder down.
We got an
Oh, no,
extra
you
one of these. We
Here's
got
an
one of these?
extra, who doesn't have it? You got yours.
Yep.
Okay, it's interesting, so required minimum members are down on the left side. So let's just start at the top. We have to have a solid waste disposal facility operator. Well, we only got one,
Presque.
that
Yeah.
GFL.
yeah, GFL.
And so I don't know,
Presque's the
we say
Yep.
3 names, you can't have 3 names in this county because we only got one.
Are you, yeah, are you looking for names or are you just looking for the facility and then they'll send somebody forward? Is that what you're doing? For the committee?
I don't get it. We haven't talked to anybody
I
about,
know that. Are we picking specific people we talk to? Or are we just? gonna talk to
we've
the
got to.
GFL.
So we wouldn't
Well,
say,
So if I thought GFL was on, I would talk to Guy or his supervisor, correct?
Well, That's just what I want you to do, is to say who we should talk
Yeah,
to.
that's why I wrote.
He wants to know if we're just putting a company or the representative from the company, and it's representative from the company.
Well,
We
it-
put
I think
company
it
down, they
depends.
pick- And they
Some-
pick their rep, they put on our board?
You'd almost have to, because I mean, if you jumped up just quickly.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
This one's not even required, but representative business that generates managed material. In the planning area. And take, for instance, Presque Electric. If you put Presque Electric down there, you're not gonna decide who they send, you know,
Right.
they're gonna send their.
Well, I think sometimes, I think we have to have both, talk about the company, if you know somebody in the company who would be good, or if
Right.
you know the boss that we should
Right.
call.
Right.
And, I think Anne Marie's gonna get stuck with that.
That's why they want phone numbers.
Well, I've talked to Chris E, and he would be willing to. be
I
on
talked
it.
to him too after the last meeting. I said, that's your label right there.
And like I said, I just put 3 so that in case.
Well, and it might be that Chris says, I'd like to do it, but I have to ask my boss.
Super.
He's gonna have to.
Absolutely.
Well, he will ask the supervisor.
Yeah.
And it's hard as heck to get a meeting with. the
Well, all right, so GFL, and we're gonna start with Chris,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
What's Chris's last name?
GEE.
G.
Oh, GEE. And to give the guy some credit, he's been to several of our meetings and he's,
Yep.
He's pro.
all right, so,
So are we approaching the company to let them know our intentions of asking him?
I would-
Or are we
I-
just going right to him?
Well, I would call him and then let him decide to call his.
I would
boss.
talk to him, I would go and talk to him and ask him, and then he will get with the supervisor.
Yes.
and go through it.
I don't think it'll be the same in every situation,
Right.
I don't either,
yeah.
but when you have somebody that's working for a company to be doing something, you know.
He's
is it-
gonna have to ask
He's
permission.
already stated.
He
it.
No, I'm
figured-
sure he is.
yeah.
but,
I
you-
think he's already talked to the supervisor.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened.
All right,
Yeah, they got-
so moving right along, representative of a hauler of managed material, my thought was PAC.
Pack is the only hauler I know of.
Yeah, like-
Well,
I-
GFL is a hauler,
Right. the
but
only-
we're not gonna have them 2 people from,
I
do
got Pack and Bruce Lecure.
you know who the person is?
Yeah, Bruce Lecure,
Bruce Lecure?
yeah. His phone numbers.
Well, I can get all that too from the sheet.
You can
Let's
get
spell his name, last name,
Lecure, LECURE.
okay,
AUX.
okay, good French name. Okay,
He's the son of the.
and you got his phone number?
Yeah.
Lay it on us.
Well, like I said, I don't know. I can get all that.
Okay.
From the sheet.
All right.
that's fine.
So materials recovery facility operator,
This is what I'm understanding.
Emmett County.
Is this a salvage yard or something? Would
What?
that fall under that? Materials recovery facility?
I think we're talking Emmett County, the recycling place.
So you're not talking about a salvage yard, correct?
No.
All right. See, so it'd
I
be,
see.
so it would be Emmett Recycling.
And
That's
they
right.
offered to
Emmett
help
County
us.
DPW.
So right away, they're not county residents per se, but we've been working with them how many years? What's the name of the lady we should talk to?
Andy.
Andy, A-N-D-I. What's her last name?
I got it.
Yeah, I can't remember her last name.
So are we good now? See, with these, we can't name 3 because these,
There is no three.
Right.
I mean, there's only 13,000 people in the whole county.
Well, you're just throwing names out. there.
Yeah.
You
Right.
still have to talk to these
well, we have to fill slots with. Okay, so now we come to composting facility. Well, you don't have to have one, but I think we should.
We have.
Well, we've got the ability, it's already started, we don't have a facility, they just got the place where they store it.
Well, but it's still. a
But
huge
it's-
account to
it's
the
up-
city
yeah,
and the
so
county.
you-
Composting facility,
I see why
So you
that,
put the city of Roger City and then
So-
let them,
Roger City DPW.
that'd
okay,
be John, Romo.
yep,
What's this last?
I really
Brummel.
don't know if. Only DPW even has a compost. I mean, I'd have to talk to them.
I don't think it's that common.
I know. I mean,
But
I
it's
don't
a
know
really
what they
cool-
do.
Well,
I should
some-
ask them what they do. with it.
Some,
They probably take it to the land.
Well,
Like,
Emmett County got one. They
like
got a big
landscaping
fac-
firms
they
No,
got
I'm
something.
talking about their
It
mulch.
could be a business,
It's not
I guess
fault,
is what
right?
I'm saying, but I don't know of any.
No, I think big landscaping companies have, they have a chunk of 40, 40 or something, where they take the clippings and the brushing. Where Roger City said,
Put it
hey,
on the ground.
they do all kinds of stuff, but Roger City said, hey, I want the people to, when they do their yard, because we like pretty yards. That they have a place to go dump this, and we make.
I'm wondering.
Well, if we're gonna use public funds to do this, it, to my mind, it has to be a public facility that citizens can use, and that's Roger City's the
Yep.
only one I know of.
Yep,
Would waste, oh, go ahead, are you still on that?
No,
Would waste, what would waste diversion mean? Are you talking about like septic holes?
that's kind of I have that same question, but here's what I was thinking of,
Yeah.
like the mulch guys. They're taking waste wood and turning it into a product. That's waste diversion. So it doesn't go to the landfill, it goes back out on the market. So the
That
one,
would be a sawmill.
well, it could be the sawmill, so my thought
Something
was
like sturgeon. Use
cedar log and lumber, or Prell sawmill, or Henkowski's mulch.
or sturgeon, well, sturgeon's not in our county. It's in Sheboygan.
yeah, he's in Sheboygan.
So those three, I mean, cause timber is a big deal for our county. We got a lot
Cedar
of.
log and lumber does have a mulch pile.
Yeah.
Furthermore, they
He
used
sells a
to
lot.
they used to be able to take their chips to the plant for fuel, and now they can't. So I think it would be good if we had something for people that
So that'd be.
have
cedar.
wood waste. So we can help maybe use it.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
So
So there you.
we got Prell's, we got cedar log and lumber, we got Henkowski. There's probably other ones in the county, but you'd have,
Cedar
Can we-
log and lumber, you'd have to talk with one
what's his name?
of three.
You can just put down the company names and I'll.
Is that your brother?
Okay, cedar log, Prell's, Henkowski.
And Prell's
Prell's.
probably the biggest one of all. He does a lot of mulch.
That'd be
So I think there'd be other waste diversions, but the reason I said something about wood products is that's a really important economic thing here. And these guys have got a problem right now with what to do with
yeah,
their
they can't
chips.
haul it to Hillman. for fuel.
Right,
No,
they used to be able to get rid of it
Shut
and sell,
they used to take some to Gator, but you can't. Not taking it there anymore either.
That includes sawdust too.
right,
Well, that used to. be-
sawdust, wood chips.
And
Oh, Hinska logging we could put down too.
Willie's sawmill shut
Yeah,
down.
sawmill. Just a sawmill there now.
Willie's sawmill shut
Oh,
down,
and
so they're not in business.
Henka's out of Posen,
Yes,
Yeah.
so that's a fourth one.
Who's the third one?
Cedar log, Prell's, Henkowski, and
yeah, Nathan and
Not-
Kuski.
non-Henkowski.
Yeah, you can put him
I would
down.
do it Hinska.
Yeah, I would.
We could look, if I can get a better definition.
Does Hanska got a sawmill where he processes?
Nobody processes the chips though and everything. He doesn't
He
have a
probably
sawmill.
hauls the chips to the plant.
Okay,
takes all his
so
stuff most
you
of
got
it.
our interest. Our interest is in the wood products and getting rid of the chips and sawdust in a environmentally good
yeah.
way. And maybe making some money at it. And then if there was equipment that we needed to buy to help that, we could do that.
Pros, you'd have to talk to Joe.
Oh. Yep.
All right,
You just put down the company names.
all right, we got it. Representatives of an environmental interest group that has members residing in the planning area.
I don't know what.
Well, somebody was saying Teresa Christ.
Hmm.
What do you think about that?
She in this county?
Yeah, she
Lives in Rogers City.
lives right,
Oh,
right across the street from Rick Ross.
Black River Road.
The other two places I was thinking of, but I don't know, they're kind of. Huron
State.
Pines in the conservation district, but that's all tied up right now with the dam controversy, so.
Teresa Chris,
KRIST.
what is she involved with?
She used to
She's
be,
been involved with our recycling committee for many years.
yeah.
I mean, because they don't have to be actually attached to an environmental.
No.
group.
No,
No,
Right.
The only one I could think of over by me would be like, Megan Ellenberger. Megan Ellenberger.
Just put it down.
Yeah. Megan Ellenberger,
Megan,
Megan,
yeah, with the hyphen.
Now, county elected official,
you put down.
That's somebody here.
well, it could be a commissioner, it could be the drain commissioner,
I
it could
think-
be, is the surveyor elected? Could be the surveyor. Drain commi-
They should.
just to keep watch on the process.
And I would suggest you do the chairman.
Well, we don't, the hard part is we're right in the midst of an election year, so we
Right.
don't know where things are gonna go.
Well, I'm good.
Well,
We
but
can change, I would just put board member.
Yeah,
county
that'd be
board
the way to
member.
do it.
Okay,
For right now,
well, I disagree. We have to have 3 meetings. We have to have a person from the county at those meetings. We have to have
Right,
this
but
plan.
if you put the county board member now, it may change in the future.
Right,
After the
Oh.
election.
well, so who do you want to do it?
you're saying before November, right?
Right.
I'm saying before September, we have to get this jump. We have to have this committee.
by
Well, then
November,
then we
Right.
elect somebody, but you know, with the understanding that things may change.
Well, a lot of us are up
I
for
wrote-
election.
I wrote my argument, I wrote you down, I wrote my own name down, whatever, whoever wants. to do it.
Well,
Wayne wants.
you're not appointing
doesn't
tonight,
do
so you can talk
Wayne
about
doesn't
it,
want to
decide
do
who wants to do it.
I mean, I don't have.
Just if you put,
Do we have a volunteer?
to do it now, I'd volunteer. I would volunteer to do that,
There you go.
but it's only gonna be till December.
Well,
it's just to get us started.
Get it
Never
started.
Yeah.
Place it.
Yeah.
Place it.
Yeah,
Like I said, you're not appointing tonight, so you're just
You're
putting
just
down
putting
that
a
it's a
name.
county board member. And
we
that's-
need somebody to get us through this approval
I
process.
understand.
yep.
All right, so. Now, this is interesting. We need a township elected official, a city or village elected official.
Yeah.
And a regional planning agency. I want to make sure somebody from
Where the-
Onaway is there.
Where the, well, from Alice.
Well, I would say the Alice Township Supervisor,
Well,
Well,
Right?
I would.
Why would you say that? But what,
I would say,
he's elected official.
yeah,
He
but
is.
we have 14.
I
was
gotta-
gonna say.
township supervisors.
I-
are you
But
gonna
our
pick that?
landfill's in Alice Township.
Doesn't matter.
I know these. I wrote down Mark
You wanna
Dean, he's a
have
trustee.
it
in
spread
Alice
across the
Township.
county.
So how you pick one out of that whole county?
Well, here's a thought. Whoever the township is, they should have skin in the game for
Solid
materials
waste.
management. So they should have recycling, or they should have the facility
Or the landfill.
or the landfill.
Okay, well, there's a good criteria. So,
Well, I wrote down Mark Dean, trustee at Alice.
Yeah, it
Township.
doesn't have to be the supervisor.
Mark Dean,
I wrote down Trevor Most. He's a trustee at Alice Township.
And I'm sure that one of those guys would say yes, but my other options were Presque Township or Akiak Township. Presque because it's got so many people. In Akiak, they have a major trash dump there. It's not just for recycled, but they also have
Transfer station.
yeah, it's a transfer station. So
And you're
if,
getting outside of just one compacted area.
right,
right, but the sawmills will help us do that, but also. So I'm not sure.
I also wrote Chris Bendark in Case Township, who's,
He's not gonna be on the board anymore.
oh, that's right, you're right, he's not running.
So I'm not trying to, I think I had Alice Township down also, so I thought of. Or North Alice is having a camera problem, right?
No, no.
it was
Oh, it's
Alice.
Alice, okay, so I had Alice,
The landfills in South
Uh,
Alice. I just wrote down the 2 trustees,
okay,
Mark Dean, who I don't know well, and Trevor Most.
I'm just suggesting as a backup, Presque Township or Akiak Township, if we can't get somebody. Now, Kelly Stockwell happens to be a NEMCOG board member, so you have to have somebody representing the regional planning agency. And Kelly's the manager, she's not elected. But for city or village, you could have Scott McLennan. And so you'd have both Rogers City and Onaway represented.
Well, for Onaway area, I would probably use an elected official would be like Roger Marsh, he's a councilman. Or even Amy Whitsitt. She's
She's
the
not
village, huh?
That's not an elected position.
Amy Whitsitt in
Not an
village?
elected position. Village clerks are appointed.
Really? I didn't know that. I'll scratch that off. I got Roger Marsh, it's an elected position. He's from he's the city councilman in Onaway.
Well, I put down Scott
Scott,
McLennan, mayor of Rogers City. Just one man. But we could have somebody from Posen. And that would get us out of,
I don't know anybody opposing them. Are they elected too?
The village,
The clerk?
no, village clerks are not elected, they're appointed.
So only the
The president and the trustees.
trustees. Gotcha. I looked them over and I didn't know any of them opposed them,
Well, and everybody has, like I said, they'll be on the ballot in November.
but you
so
could
there
get
be-
somebody to oppose them. Eh?
well, the idea is like, let's spread this out geographically, because all of the whole county is supposed to be served by this. So that's why I was thinking Posen and certainly Onaway. Because those are
There's no villages in Behringer.
So everybody wrote theirs down. I wrote down McLennan, Posen, and Millersburg as my thoughts. So we'll just give it to the clerk and she'll sift through it.
Rogers.
Now, the next one is this representative of the business that generates managed material in the planning area. And it's not mandatory. But I thought about, where does all the trash come from? It comes from the stores. And the biggest volume of landfilled material is actually spoiled food. So I put down Tom's Market or Family Fair or Dollar General, because people buy all the junk at Dollar General and all you get is packaging that ends up in the trash.
I put Presque on too. But you're right, that would be more better. My wife, even when I was asking her about that, she said, what about a grocery store? You know,
Because that's where the trash is generated. Now we could put on McDonald's, but again, I think this gives us a chance to move out of town if we got somebody from Tom's Market. Dollar General has 3 Dollar Generals in the county.
Yeah.
Four?
Well, Grand Lake,
about the grocery store, we got there small.
that's a
No.
Family Dollar.
Yeah.
In Posen.
Dollar and-
Dollar
Well-
General you got in Grand Lake, one here and one in Onaway,
Yeah,
and where's the other one? There's 4.
well, they're
Oh,
4.
Posen.
Posen.
Onaway's got
No,
two of them.
Family
No,
Dollar.
that's a Family Dollar.
Onaway's got 2 of them, Dollar General.
Well, Dollar General's got 3, they're the winner. So that's that I had, Tom's Market, Family Fair, or Dollar General. You know, we don't have to have this person. They could all turn us down. I don't know if there's anybody interested that would do it.
That's why if we're
But I do think the stores are a huge source of managed material. And it's going into the landfill, so
stores probably more than restaurants, eh?
Oh, by far,
was-
yeah.
I was thinking about restaurants and I thought, nah,
Really?
more of the volume's coming.
So the manager of the family fair is an elected official, that's very permanent.
They're permanent.
Yeah, but
So he might take it on.
he might, but then that gives a lot of power to one place in the county.
I know, but he'd be the likely person to have that.
Yeah,
To get this thing, and Dollar General may or may not have a.
well, that's
Good luck.
correct, Rachel. Good luck finding anybody except the clerks, yeah. And I don't know how the franchises operate. It might not be the same person and the 3 is just a big mess.
Right, and it may make them think they don't want to have stores here. The government comes and asks them for something.
And I personally don't know the guy gal who runs Tom's Market, but I know,
That's Brian Madison and.
like,
That's
write his name down.
Tom Madison's son.
Cause yeah, I was thinking about Furman in Rogers City.
Brian and Ryan.
So last but not least, Regional Planning Agency, well, I don't think we want to ask the NEMCOG boss to come here. He's got too much going on. He's not gonna come to our meetings. The three people on the NEMCOG board from this county are Kelly Stockwell, Scott McLennan, and myself. So I put those names down. Now, any other ideas about something that's not being represented? We could have optional representative that does business in or resides in an adjacent community outside the planning area. I think we got enough problems just.
No, we don't want that.
I don't think so
No,
either.
we're doing it on our own anyway.
Right,
Yeah, you don't want to.
No, no.
so now let's
It don't, wouldn't
give our
matter,
list to Anne Marie.
any of the businesses that you put down, it really wouldn't matter which one you did in the county, because it all ends up in the landfill.
Right,
Everybody hauls to that landfill here.
right. Right. There you go. Do we want? I was thinking, can the executive committee work with Anne Marie to put this together? Or just, I hate to dump it all on Anne Marie. I don't know when John's coming back.
Yeah, till the end of the month.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah, I mean, to put it together in a list.
well, I'm not back up for executive committee,
Yep.
so it could be
Good.
Mr. Darger and myself meet with you to put together a slate to bring back to you next meeting.
We could
That'd
do
be
that.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll send it out ahead of time.
Propose.
Yeah,
You need these.
yeah, Right, but not till the meeting.
That doesn't give us no time yet.
the only other thing is we have to have some kind of an ad out there. Did you think?
You could have a special meeting if you run out of time.
Yeah.
Sure, if you call one.
We can put in the paper.
Well, it's recommended, but we need to post it on our website anyway. And it's too late for this week's paper, but it's not too late for next week's
The
paper.
biggest thing you call.
The trouble with this is you have to fit into a slot. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
You can't just
Yeah,
have an
fit.
at-large member. You have to fit one of those.
And
Oh,
you're
yeah,
gonna
okay.
have. 6 meetings a year, right?
Yeah, you asked that
Every-
question.
every
I'm
2
sorry, I
two.
forgot about that.
Cause the main thing I wanted to ask is while you're asking people is, what are they gonna?
Warn
They're
them.
gonna ask, what are they gonna?
That's a
get
very
compensated?
good. You know, this Tolini guy's got a lot on the ball. I took your question to Nico. And I was thinking myself, oh my God, you don't want to meet every month.
that'd be
But you gotta do this plan. So for the first couple, 3 months till we get this thing approved, they would have to meet every month. So for 3 months, every month. For the next 2 years, every other month. Until the plan's done. And after that, quarterly. So that's somewhere around that.
So you get 3 meetings in a row, then bi-monthly for the next year. And then quarterly after that.
Yeah,
Just gotta figure out compensation for the people. though.
Well, I would go, it's the normal per diem and mileage that
Right.
probably already have done.
just whatever our per diem rates are for the.
That's the first thing.
Yeah, 'cause that
That's the
includes
first
all
thing
the
they're
committees
gonna
anyway,
ask
so
you
that'd be under
when
that
you
committee.
call. That's the first thing they're gonna ask you when you call this.
50 bucks a meeting, but if we change it to
Pardon me?
60 bucks, it goes,
It just follows the county
No.
per diem.
which right now is plus
50
travel,
50
which could be
days,
important,
50 bucks a meeting and mileage, or a full meeting.
and mileage,
Whatever it is.
right? And I can imagine later on, if they were gonna do a tour of a facility or something, that it could be longer time, it could be a
whole
day.
day or something.
Or if they had to go to a conference or something like that.
But the money you're getting. to pay for this
Hopefully, yeah. Once we get this,
plan done.
And moving on to number 3, resolution for.
wait a minute, are we done?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
everybody happy?
No, we didn't prove this. Yeah, we voted on. it.
Yeah, we voted
Yeah,
on this.
we
right?
did.
Yep, them con- We got number 3 now, the conflict resolution day.
Right, and I sent the information in your packet. It's, like I said, more one of those formality things, just acknowledging it.
I think we do this one every year.
No, we haven't
That's
done
the
this
new
one, unless we've done a long time ago. This is a new one, but. It's been a bit, been a minute at least, since I've gotten this one.
Can we get them to help resolve these union conflicts? I would make a motion to adopt the resolution and authorize our vice chair to sign
There's no
for,
signature.
oh, it's not a. All right, for the conflict resolution day.
It's conflict resolution.
It's a proclamation.
It's not a resolution, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
a proclamation for conflict resolution day.
You have a motion, you have a support? Support. We have a motion and support, then any other discussion?
If the world would operate more like that, we'd be in a better place.
Oh, I gotta change the name.
I didn't know this place, these guys existed.
No,
So
Okay.
we can maybe find other ways to use them in the future.
okay, call the
They use
roll.
them for the courts.
Oh, they use it, the courts use them?
The courts. We're at Heidemann,
Yes,
Darga,
Yes,
Saley,
Yes.
Delaney.
Yes.
very good. Okay, number 4, transfer, to close out the count and transfer the money.
Yep, so the first one is the Michigan Veterans Trust Fund. It was years ago that we used to get money well, they would send us money and then we would be able to spend it, for services for the veterans. A number of years ago, but still well under my purview, they went regional. But they stopped sending us money, but we still had money in the account and we did an audit and we told them and they did an audit and said, this is how much you owe us and the rest is yours. And it's like, okay. So it's just sitting there dormant.
What's the amount?
How much?
$1,880.38.
but the transfer would be for veterans into the veterans. Or not?
No, it just go into the general fund. We have to close them into the general fund.
It's $1,800.
$1,800.
$1880.
Which is fine because we use our general fund to pay 90% of the wages of the veteran counselor. So this is
Okay,
a
good
pin
point.
drop of what we,
Well, that makes a difference.
yeah,
Yeah,
because the other money the other account has
money
from
from
right.
Doesn't sound good.
Oh,
No, the other one has money sitting in it. Yep. So I'm not.
So you want one at a time though.
Yep, well, no, they can be at the same time, I can list them.
Well, tell us about the other one.
The second one is the flexible spending account. Years ago, we offered the service for flexible spending options for employees. They would put in money and then they would draw it off and stuff like that. Well, we stopped that program several years ago when we switched to HSA. And again, the county funded that account way back. And then it just would, and then it got, then employees started putting in, so this money was pre-funded by the county back in the day. So that's $6,337.16.
6337,
6337.16.
16.
And that's not one that's
the
normally,
employees were putting money into it.
right, and then they would draw off when they would,
Go get their meds or.
Before they got their health savings.
Oh,
account.
Right.
that's what's left in it.
It was
yeah,
the
but like I said,
precursor.
Yeah.
way back when this started up, the county pre-funded it.
They put the money in
The
it.
county did, yeah, you had to have money in there because people could draw off during the year, but they weren't paying it, they could say they said they'll do $500 a year, but they drew 300 in January and they're not paying that back until, as their payroll.
How long ago did that happen?
Oh. Couldn't even tell you what year
No.
it started. I mean, I remember looking it all up years ago when we were closing out and switching over, but it's been dormant for at least 4 to 5 years now.
What's the next one?
That's just those two.
Those two.
That's those two. That will, like I said, get it off the
Make the
treasurer's
motion,
roll
Cliff.
and help them out.
That's a total of $8,217.46.
You're gonna
going
move it into
general
the
fund.
general fund? I make a motion to move that money from the accounts and move the general fund.
If we have a motion, we have a second.
Support.
Okay, Mary Ann supported. We'll close out those accounts and put them into the general fund.
Was the auditor squealing about that?
No, we did a lot of cleanup over the last 12 years that I can say, and so like I said, these were just a couple that had been sitting, we talked about it, and then. You know, you get busy and forget about it, cause you're not in it all the time.
Right.
Any other discussion, not called roll?
You're to Darga.
Yes.
Saley.
Yes.
Pellini.
Yes.
Vitamin.
Yes.
And now we're off to committee reports, we met Tuesday on the claims and finance. Excuse me. So we talked about that. And I don't know if you want to discuss that now, Vic, or wait for your government officials report.
I can do it either way.
Whatever you want to do, you can do it now or during your,
Has everybody had a chance to look through the information that I sent?
Vaguely.
Okay. So what it boils down to is I provided information about money that has flown through the office and what is left over to go to the general fund. And right now I'm working on a contract with our software provider, which is a 5-year contract. And in order to keep the rate that I have currently, they want me to implement a couple new features that have to do with online searching and additional fraud protection. And that amounts to a little over 9,000 a year. And
Safety feature.
it is, you're able to include more information when you sign up for an account to receive fraud alerts. Right now, it's your name only. With the new program, you can use other identifying criteria that we index into the system, a legal description, a PIN number, in addition to the legal description, things like that. And there is a cost for that of $840 a year. And for the other part of that, they are introducing what is called cloud search, which is very similar to doing a Google search, but it's going to be of the land records only. So if you, right now, if you go online, you can search by a person's name, a PIN number, parcel ID number. It's limited to that, to the public. And if you have an escrow account with us, then you can search by a track index, which there is a charge for that. So it's a little more involved. A lot of the title companies, independent searchers use that program. We have 40 years worth of records, so it's important to keep that in place. This Google or cloud search, it's called, is for the average Joe. I want to look up who has the subdivision lot number. They can put that subdivision name, lot number, it's going to pull it right in, just like a Google search. A name of a subdivision, a PIN number, you know, it has much more searching capability. And there's no charge to search like the other one, but there would be revenue generated by selling copies for anybody that wants to purchase copies that are using the site. We wouldn't be able to tie escrow accounts. We wouldn't be able to do track searching with that. So in order to keep my rate the same for my software contract, which is my everyday operations, I would have to implement these new programs. And it comes to a cost of just over 9,000 a year. And this is a 5-year contract. And as I mentioned to Mike, the website we have now costs us $4,800 a year. The online revenue we collected last year amounted to $16,500. So it more than pays for itself. The cloud search would also generate revenue once it's implemented.
So the 9,000 includes all these upgrades that you have to have.
That is going to include adding
The
Cloud
80,
search.
50 more.
animal property alert program,
The whole
Um,
thing's 9,000 a year.
a little bit over 9, yes.
Vicky, about the security function, it's my understanding that there's more and more property fraud of people coming in and basically saying they own a property they don't own and then selling it. And the owner finds out later that they no longer own the property. So, I mean, this is really a big deal. So I think for sure that security should be added. There were a couple editorials about that recently. I mean, this is a big deal and it's a problem.
Like that title, occupy. Insurance.
Yeah, I think we do with that.
So, this is scary. So if I would be very much in favor of having the additional security. Because the more and more access you give to the public, the more and more opportunity for fraud there is.
Right, and so I don't need approval at this point to do this. What I'm asking is, as part of my contract negotiation, are you okay with me allowing that? Because it is a general fund expense. My daily operation comes out of the tech fund. So that's already in my budget and I can approve that amount without approval from the board. But of course, I would share that with you. And I just want a consensus of the board going forward, because I want to get this contract done before the end of the year, before I have a new board to work with. And I just want to know that you're on board with me doing that. That's part
Yeah, I'm in
of
favor.
I think that's great
Yeah.
that you came to us, and I think those are both really, one's gonna make money, the other is gonna make our citizens safer.
Trying to keep your free. I mean,
Well-
what would your next rate go to? You don't know. Where are you gonna go from there?
Well, and as I shared, I did check with another vendor for pricing. And they charge an annual fee. Right now, I pay a per doc fee. So we collect $5 for every document that is recorded as part of the $30 reporting fee that stays with my office in the tech fund. Of that $5, $4.25 goes for my daily operations. They want to increase that to $4.88, which would leave me 12 cents in my fund to grow, which isn't a lot of money at the end of the year. But if you go with the flat rate fee, you're tied to that static amount, where the per doc fee fluctuates with the amount of reporting.
Also tell them how much to go
Oh,
to this
yeah.
other
And
vendor.
In the other vendor with the annual fee, which was comparable to this one, wanted $58,000 to transfer the records from one
Oh.
program.
Ooh, baby.
And I only have 61,000 in the.
Yeah, that's pretty
so
much
that
a
would weigh me out.
no-brainer. Pretty much a no-brainer. You gotta stay with it.
Yeah,
Right, and it's a program that the searchers like, you know, they tell me over and over, don't change, stay with this program, this is what we like. And
I can understand them asking for more security with liability, you know,
okay.
indirectly
Thank you.
they're liable.
yeah, that's all I had for, finance. So anybody else have anything? Schedule our meetings for what now? Our next meeting will be the 26th, correct? 27th. So we could do the 24th for committees, right? 24th?
And John's not gonna be back for that, or he will?
Well, the
That's-
committee meetings they're on, but John will be back for the last meeting.
Okay,
The 27th is the
It
finance,
will be the next meeting.
finance.
but is,
No, finance will be next month.
is Cliff gonna
October.
represent us at the finance meeting?
No.
That's
no,
next month,
that's
we don't have.
October.
That's
All
not
right, that's
October.
so-
We're talking about the regular meeting.
Right,
Okay,
he's talking about building.
Because we got building and zoning and we
Okay.
got airport, that's on the 24th.
all right.
Special appointment committees? Anybody have anything?
I went to the MTA and so did our clerk. I must say there weren't very many county officials there. I was really surprised because the primary election was over and I guess they all came to preach their cause before the primaries and now I don't know.
It was just judicial at the other one.
Well,
Yeah.
it was a good turnout. And I think those MTA meetings are helpful because it brings the townships together to share their problems, and especially this year with all the changes in election laws. So, I don't know, Anne Marie, anything else big that happened there?
The
No,
sheriff.
it was
the
a quite,
sheriff.
it was a shorter meeting, but I had a meeting prior to the meeting with all my groups.
Right, So the clerks were talking election stuff. I'm sure that any commissioner is welcome at those. And Emery does send out the meeting time. So they really like hearing from county board people. A couple people thanked me.
Usually Dave is there from road commission, he just, for whatever reason that day happened not to be, but he usually gets a good report.
Well, the prosecutor came before and the judge came but nobody showed up this time, so. Vicky went. And that was appreciated, so. That's all I have.
Anyone else? Other government officials, Ricky, anything? No?
Yes,
Okay.
Hold on, do you have anything for road commission? I'm gonna say, he's sitting there getting his paperwork out. so-
Oh, okay, I,
Well, that was-
I'll wait.
It's a short one. I won't mention all. They paid, the accounts payable that this month there was $251,019. They got a request, from somebody, they want to purchase a parcel of road commission land, a sliver of ground. But they're gonna have to put it up for bids, it's,
road commission owns it right now.
yeah.
Yeah, we have to go for bid.
If and they thought they were just gonna sell it, but they kind of came to an understanding that it has to go up for bids. I just hit the important stuff here. They found another Foreman pickup from Sourcewell. 62,000, a Ram 1500 for Marty's truck here. Day cab options. Deegan Felix is working in the shop now. And they're gonna offer him a
Oh, that young guy?
yeah, mechanic, they're gonna offer him a full-time job.
well,
to
good.
keep him. Yeah, I guess he's really doing good. He's really knowledgeable for a young kid.
You don't see that much. there.
So they're gonna bump up to, well, he was gonna offer him, he probably already had offered him the full-time position with benefits, so just to keep him there. Because I don't think you'll
So-
find a replacement like that.
How's the solar traffic doing? Is that,
The roads are holding up. I mean. Basically, the roads are holding up, but then when you go and look at them, you can see the bellies in them from the traffic, because they are getting pounded pretty good, but
Yeah.
we had a lot of rain a month ago. You know. I don't know if you guys had as much as we had on the other side, but we had almost 14 inches of rain, 5 weeks. And but it's dried up now, and the ground's pretty dry, but there's still a lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic.
And I think they'll use every bit of that to fix what.
Yeah.
600.
good to have it?
Yeah, I don't think they should have went off the 1.2 million myself, but. It was a negotiation process, and
Mm-hmm.
they could have walked away and said nothing, we're not gonna give you anything. I don't know how you keep them from using the road.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, you own the roads, but they're public roads, how are you gonna keep them from using them, you know? That's quite a deal going on out there, I don't know if any of these.
Well, I tell you what, it's quite the project out there.
Yeah,
Man,
there's
a lot of nice property,
beautiful.
beautiful
farmland. And
farmland.
we brought that up at the meeting, we talked about that too. That used to be his route when he drove truck. Man, that was so nice, it was all, in the winter, it was all snow hills, and it was all potatoes and corn and beans and. Yeah, it's terrible, it's prime land, prime farmland. Good on the way loan. 8B loan. But such as is. That's all I got to
Okay,
report.
anything, Wayne? Okay, all right, Vic.
Okay. First thing, the scanning project, the last one that we had initiated is in stage 3. So this is the final stage. We used up the remaining ARPA funds that were left over from the first project. And then we had 25,000 in a special account. I just submitted a bill for stage 2 that leaves $1,000 left in that account.
And then the final project, or the final stage, will, use the remaining funds that I think it's $1,000, and then the rest will come out of the tech fund. So far, it's, been under budget, so that's good. Results have been great. So I'm happy with that. Next item of discussion is, Mary Ann had talked about, I did share with the press release, regarding, legislation that is going to the House. Whenever they get started, I think they are started now, but as it gets presented. And this was legislation introduced by the Wayne County Register of Deeds, Bernie Youngblood, stating that they would like to put in place punishment for people that are recording fraudulent documents, make it a felony. So I was happy to share that information, and we'll keep an eye on that. Other legislation, the MARD Association, which is Michigan Association Register of Deeds, and also Scale and Michigan Bar, have been putting together a plan. The bill has already passed the Senate. It's going to the House, and this is House Bill 5724, which kind of resembles Daniel's Law, which was incorporated in New Jersey, and it has to do with protecting personal information for judges and their families, which would impact our office. So once this gets implemented, we're trying to make it 180 days before it's implemented. It may be 90, we don't know, but our software providers are aware of it and how we would go about shielding that information, privatizing it, things like that. So that's something that we're keeping an eye on. And also the other organization I belong to is PRIA, it's Property Records Information Association. That's a nationwide program. I haven't delved into it real far, but they are looking at, and I'm not sure if it's legislation they're trying to pass or just maybe counties making it their policy to have people provide identification when they're recording documents. Because at this point, anybody can bring a document to get it recorded. So I like that idea. I had suggested that we put, we make it a requirement to have property identification numbers as a reporting requirement on a document to help with fraud, as a criteria for these programs that are out there. Because right now, that information is not required when you report a document. And that's another identifying factor that I think would be helpful, but that didn't go so far, you know, other than discussion in our group. But these are all things that we're keeping an eye on and staying vigilant. That's all we can do.
That says just policy in your office,
For,
the ID.
PRIA is the one behind it, which again is nationwide. I don't know if other states are implementing it at this point. I'll have to read more into it. But it is something that we're
So
looking
it's
at.
federal law. They're passing.
No, it would be up to the states to pass it if they go that route.
And what's the bill that's passed the Senate, it's going to the House for judges' personal property?
Daniel's.
Yeah, Daniel's Law, that one is House Bill 5724. So, that was implemented after the son of a judge was killed. There was a gentleman that went to the judge's house with the intent of harming the judge, and the son answered the door and he was killed. And when they investigated, they found on the seat of his vehicle information from the county records. Because this is how they located it. Right. But as you know, anybody can do a Google search and all the information is out there. But in right now, it's limited to judges and their immediate family. Will it expand beyond that? We don't know, you know, once you start shielding information, how will title agencies be able to do their job?
Not only that is. You're singling out judges and the rest of the population, you know,
Correct.
that's not right.
So could have a snowball effect, and
Maybe it'll die in the house.
I get the idea behind it, but it's gonna be very hard to implement and
Keep track of it without. Wow.
I think it's over.
Doing everything else, yeah.
yeah, that's why Scale, the MART Association and Michigan Bar are all trying to work together to see how can we make this work,
Resolve it, yeah.
because they do want something in place.
Mhm.
Anything else, Vic?
No,
And
I did attend an MTA meeting like Marion stated. Had a meeting with the clerks, went over the last election. Prepping for the next election, unfortunately, with the withdrawal of the presidential candidate. Not knowing if it goes on the ballot or off the ballot,
Oh, it's already gonna stay on.
well,
Supreme Court.
Stay
ruled.
I understand that, trust me. But what it did is all the county clerks now are still trying to get their programming ballots programmed. Because when it goes back, Friday, we got word it was offset, Sunday or Monday morning, it was back on.
It's ridiculous.
So that really puts a bind on everyone to get the programming ready and the ballots printed
Yeah.
for next Saturday. Because when I do get the
I just
proof,
can't believe the Supreme Court even did that.
well, either way, I think I can't withdraw from the ballot and have my name taken off. So, it should be
Okay.
fair across,
that's
I
right.
mean, I could have, there's a timeline.
Right.
There is.
And that, so
ballots are-
that we can get these processes done, but
The ballots.
I'm not high enough the
mean-
food chain, high enough up the food chain, but we're the ones that feel the ripple effect because we're the ones boots on the ground trying to get the
Yeah.
ballots out.
Unfortunate.
And unfortunately,
It's pure politics.
and so once I do get the proofs, I have to mail them out to everybody. They have the 5 days. So that's already putting me at next week if I get them tomorrow and get them out in the mail. And they're supposed to be printed in the clerk's hands by, Saturday.
The absentees.
Well, yeah, so they can send it
Yeah.
absentee. So it's not gonna happen. It
Problem
it's
is-
simply is not gonna happen
On the
and
business, they
people
don't
are gonna
care.
ask.
They don't
and
care what the clerks have to go through.
No,
It doesn't
So-
matter.
I just
Secretary
hope
of State
people
don't
out there
care.
are patient because it is not the locals' fault. It's not the
It
county's
isn't
fault.
your fault. It's
It's not even.
right down in
state-
Lansing's fault. That's whose fault it is.
Well, no, they already, the rules were the rules, but then somebody challenges the rules and they have to stop everything, so.
The name was coming off
But,
and they went to the Supreme Court to get it put up.
so, anyways, it's done and we're here.
moving on.
Well, they're
Moving
gonna-
on,
but they're gonna-
slowly.
You're gonna catch all the flack.
Yeah, the locals are gonna get it.
Yep.
Yep.
But they'll get their ballots, they'll get them out, they do a fantastic job of getting it out, people probably wouldn't even notice if it was there Tuesday or Wednesday. So, we'll just keep working at it, the audit is next week. Here for the county finances, Thursday and Friday. So. Have that, and
That's always fun.
it's gotten quite. I wouldn't say quite easy, but we've got quite
It's
a.
got better.
We've
Well,
got quite the routine
because they know how you do it, you know how they do it now, so yeah. you
and
can-
they pull so much
Yep.
stuff ahead of time and they're not here in the building as long as years pass. So that's kind of nice. It doesn't take up our time pulling us away from the office, especially when I'm trying to get ballots done. So because then too, the other thing is once programming comes, then we have to program all the devices. So, clerks are trying to set up their public accuracy testing dates. Well, you can't do that till you have the devices.
It's getting pretty complicated.
A big ripple effect,
Way too complicated.
So anyways, that's my fun days. It's just waiting for it to drop. First 9 day they're voting, and I never did get the statistics from the state, but we're hoping that we have a good turnout for November. Times are posted already.
It always
Anything else?
worse. Right?
Any correspondence?
Nope.
Okay, need a motion for payroll.
So moved.
We have a motion for payroll, have support.
Support,
Okay, motion and support for payroll. Any other discussion? Follow
Can't
roll.
get support for payroll.
Brett, Saley,
Yes.
Feeny,
Yes.
Heidemann,
yes.
Garga.
Yes. And make a motion adjourned, so. September 27th, 9:30 AM, something to call the chair.
Support that.
You making the motion or
Yeah,
supporting?
you make the motion.
I can make.
Okay.
Sure, we can make that motion.
Yeah.
It's, want to support it, Wayne?
That's work.
Okay.
Sure, why?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.
2 seconds.
There you go.